Well, it's your idea to have this thing so early, wasn't it?
Now, like, this is such an odd week. How do you approach it? Do you give them some stuff on the game? Is it strictly just kind of keep the conditioning until we start next week, or is the approach different, I guess, this week?
I mean, it's definitely an odd week, but I just think, a couple factors involved. Just from a pure practice perspective, practice in the morning to beat the heat is why we're on this particular schedule. But no, we worked on normal D&D yesterday. We'll work on third down today, and then we'll clean that up, and then we'll come in Monday and do some red zone. And because I do want to go through a normal flow next week, because we have not been on an in-season schedule yet. So I think it's important to get your team acclimated and transition into that mode. So, but yes, we're working game plan specific things.
All right, so before we start the ground, we have a full complement of your practice squad guys. Can you talk about the two guys you added from other teams to practice squad?
Yeah, definitely. I think really through the transition of it. Saw Sean this morning. Will be he's en route. He won't be here till later today. But I think our personnel department does a tremendous job. Throughout the night that they lay out the candidates. We came in yesterday morning, at 6, studied them. So two good additions. Looking forward to working with the young guys.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. You have a Donovan Wilson update. It's been a while that he's been out. How's his rehab going?
It's going okay. So we'll have more for you on Monday. But yeah, he won't work in a full capacity today.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. In the past, you've placed a lot of importance on a certain body type on special teams. These guys who are more linebacker, tight end types. When you look at your 53, it's pretty clear you're a bit short on those types of guys.
But we're fast.
What's the trade-off, and is it all problematic?
I think everything in this league, and it really, to me, it goes back to what we talk about on offense and defense, and also goes to special teams. When your system of scheme design and how you want to play doesn't give you the ability to, keep the best football player. I mean, we all, length and all those things. I mean, all those profile conversations are important, but at the end of the day, you put together a 90-man roster, and every one of these guys earned this opportunity. So I'm confident with the makeup of our special teams.
Mike Yusuf, The Athletic. Related to Hunter, but I just want to ask you, with your time with John Kuhn in Green Bay, just what was the benefit of that? What did you like about the entire tenure that he had in Green Bay, and what worked in your offense?
Well, I mean, John Kuhn's an excellent comparable because that has been used in our conversations. I mean, if you recall, John was he was a very productive one-back runner at Shippensburg, and Hunter has those skills. I mean, I think if you got to see him against the Raiders, very productive in a one-back run part of it. But his versatility is what we're excited about because obviously it gives us the lead blocking ability in two-back. He's got good hands, good receiver, very bright. The protection part of it he has picked up for a rookie very well. And then there's a lot of high special teams value. The one thing, but you have a guy like John, that can be a staple over there for 4 or 5 years. I see Hunter in the same light.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. At this time of year, is it harder to find offensive linemen with that position flexibility that you guys see?
Yeah, definitely. I think just in general. I mean, it's. The whole evaluation and training of O-line. I think we're in an era that's it's definitely challenging. So and that doesn't, it doesn't exclude the personnel evaluation part of it because I mean it's we're all chasing it. You got young linemen that need time to develop. So your projection is so important. I think that's why. In all these personnel evaluations, you have to go back to your initial grades. Now, I'm not one to hold on to those grades, but they are, the starting point of how a player is viewed. So, but yeah, it's definitely, tougher. I think it's just tougher in general to find big men, this time of year.
Peyton Hendershot, he was pretty raw but pretty willing as an inline blocker last year as a rookie. What progression have you seen from him in that perspective?
Say the name again?
Peyton Hendershot,
Okay.
what's up?
I'm laughing because, I mean, everybody makes fun of my accent, but, okay, I didn't understand at first, okay.
Peyton Hendershot, was pretty raw, pretty willing last year, inline blocker. Have you seen his progression, you two?
Well, I think he's really grown. I think the biggest thing is, and I think it's your point, is, you know, a lot of twitch, was very productive in the perimeter stuff. You know, I think just, you know, I think of the wheel route he caught against Jacksonville. So, I mean, he has that type of ability on a second level. You know, just even talking to Dan Quinn this morning, we're talking about, you know, the assimilation of the opponent squad in having an athletic tight end, you know, to challenge the defense. And, you know, he's that kind of guy. So, but yeah, we needed to be better blocking the C gap, period, you know, not just Peyton. So, but yes, I think he's definitely improved, you know, the inline blocking, but he has the twitch and athletic ability. You know, both him and Fergie have done a better job. You know, they were both, you know, very light last year, so they both have done a great job putting on weight.
Mike, with Steele and his recovery, have you seen a guy come back from such a major thing the way he has?
No, I haven't. I mean, just that clean. I mean, that's his. You know, he hasn't missed a day, and it's just Terrence. I mean, he's in there at the same time every day, you know, doing the prehab. So, you know, it really, you know, feels like he never left. Yeah.
I think you told us, maybe it was after his rookie year, that you see him as a decade-long player. How can you what made you say that after his first year?
Well, I think you go back to any time you have a chance to work with a young player. You know, his first impression really sticks with me. I can remember watching him move in the rookie orientation there, you know, the pandemic year, and just, you know, being impressed with him, you know, day one, and, you know, we hadn't even put the pads on yet. So he just got, you know, his you know, work ethic and just the way he goes about it. I mean, he's always been no nonsense, extremely coachable, very bright, and he's a glue guy. I mean, he's really connected strongly, not only in the O-line room but the locker room. So, you know, Terrence is a stud.
Mike, Kuhn had a couple years in Pittsburgh before you guys got him. Did you think that when you did pick him up after he got released, that an 8-year career with you was kind of in the cards at that point?
Yeah, definitely. Hell, I would have gone longer with him. You know, I think John was, you know, that kind of player. You know, not just, you know, coming off of Terrence, his conversation. You know, John was, you know, very strong in the locker room too. You know, had veteran presence, was a key guy for the special teams, and, you know, and that wasn't really the philosophy. You know, keeping veterans on special teams. You know, the special teams were all your young players. Just philosophically, it was a different approach. So that speaks to John's value. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's can wear a lot of hats. You know, when you can wear a lot of hats and give you position flexibility, you know, personnel utilization flexibility. You know, those are all things that I, you know, hold high, because, you know, it's all part of game plan, especially over the course of a long season.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. Has Noah Igbenogany arrived in the building yet? And if so, what have you
Noah's here, and he's, you know, he was involved yesterday, so he just come right in, jumped in, so.
Mike, you were talking a little bit earlier about that offensive flexibility. When you look at the guys who are going to touch the ball for you, you have a couple of guys smaller stature than you normally see. All your tight ends, a little bit different skill sets. Where does this rank as far as diversity of offensive talent that you've worked with? Or is this always kind of the template you've always kind of wanted to have?
I've always wanted personnel, you know, flexibility. I think it's challenging for the defense. I think it's important for the makeup of your team. I think it's even more important in this day and age because of the length of the season, 17 games. You know, but there's also the case of, you know, being in one personnel and, you know, and being, you know, the old less volume, more creativity approach too. So I think you have to have a balance of both.
Is this one of the more diverse skill set groups you've
I don't like to do comparables, but it's a very diverse skill group. I'm excited to have these guys.
Joseph White, Lone Star Live. Mike, you talked about first impressions. What was your first impression of Deuce Vaughn, and how was that developed?
Yeah, I mean, really Deuce, I mean, obviously, Kansas State, extremely exciting player. I think the first time you see him in line in a team drill, I mean, you could see it right away in the helmets, his unique skill set. But, the thing that jumps out at me is, his running style. I mean, it looks, it looks like he's that far off the ground when he goes through the hole, and they can't really find him. And he's got great vision and instincts, really high in awareness, and he's a playmaker. So very bright. He's picked it up extremely well. So obviously made a very strong first impression.
TJ Bass is working to expand his game by doing some center work. From your experience, like for a guy who's never really done it and is doing it for the first time as an NFL rookie, what are the keys to make that transition successful?
Well, confidence, number one. For the first component of it is the snapping. You got it's a fine motor skill. Fine motor skills. You need reps. The 10,000 rep approach. That kind of focus is what we're looking for, because the snap has to be part of your initial fundamentals and techniques. So the mental part of it, he'll continue to grow. The guards are trained like the centers, so that I'm not really concerned about the mental part of it. But it's really the fine motor skill of the cadence and managing the cadence and the snapping. So getting that down.
And with Keldon Joseph, his absence obviously leaves a bit of a void in terms of special teams. What's the outlook as you kind of work through that? Like, do you feel pretty comfortable with the options and ability
absolutely.
to catch your eye early?
Yeah, I think just like anything, it's opportunity, and that'll present itself, in New York, next Sunday night. So yeah, I'm excited about it, guys. I think we're a little younger than we've been in special teams, but John and I are used to that. That's the world I pretty much have been in since '06, and but we really like the juice and energy of this group.
Mike, 3-4 days here with Trey Lance, what have been your first impressions of him?
Very hardworking. He's we have a quarterback meeting room there. That he's pretty much just kind of taking that over. The boards in there, the grease boards look like beautiful mind. I mean, so he's really dove into it, and so he's doing all the little things that you need to do. So the classroom part of it is first impression has been excellent. But it's just like anything. It's everybody does it a little differently. From the quarterback position, and that's no different for us, compared to his past experience. And we'll just continue to work on the extra things, particularly in the area of footwork.
That it?
Good. Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you.